How's it, YouTube watchers? I'm finally starting to make my hopefully last video of my wind turbine. I did have it up and I was planning on taking a video, and a few days before I was taking my video it sort of fell down again. But anyway, we'll forget that. As you can see, I've got it back up. I've strengthened it. I've also got a larger pole, and I've got it, I haven't got it against a post like I did earlier in one of my earlier videos. As you can see, I'm using, hang on if I can get the light right here, sorry about this, the sun's a bit on the wrong angle. The box that's around the motor itself was 3mm if I can remember, yeah, 3mm I think. Now it's 10mm. And so is the circle plate up there. That was the one that broke last time. That was 3mm, and now it's 10mm. So that's never going to break again. And as you can see, I've installed some guide wires, which is the reason it fell down the second time, is because I was using rope instead of steel cable, and it sort of stretched. And also another thing is I didn't put enough concrete in, so as the rope stretched, sort of make it enough movement that the turbine would swing back and forth, and it would slowly move these concrete piles around. One of them came out and the whole thing went toppling over. That's basically how it went, and I went out to find one morning it was down on the ground, and I've actually repaired it where it broke. It actually it basically just snapped and went straight down. So I've cleaned the ends up where it snapped, welded it back together, and put this patch over it. As you can see, there's a patch here and it goes all the way down, and then there's another pipe, this one here goes straight into the ground, and there's this 10mm square plate which is onto a concrete base, and this pole goes straight through the steel plate, about, let's say, a metre into the ground, concreted into the ground. So it's never going to move unless, of course, it one of these guide wires snaps, which will just send the whole thing falling down again. Anyway, on to the rest of it. Okay, and now here we have my fabulous boxes that I brought, $15 each, which is pretty cheap. Got my 4 meters, one for solar voltage, battery voltage, amps of all the charging coming into the battery, and also the turbine voltage. And we have our switches, which look pretty flash. We have 3 lights. We have side light, which is up here. We have lights in the chicken house, which are also on a timer. We have the turbine light, which is there, and that has a light on the side of the chicken house, which basically shines a light on the wind turbine itself. We've got auxiliary 1, which is a DC outputs. One's a cigarette lighter, one's basically just one of these, put the water in, let it go, sort of thing. We've got a main switch there, which turns everything off. That means battery and everything from the battery gets turned off, no connection. And all the charging, the solar, the turbine, all that's, nothing can pass. It's basically I can't remember what you'd call it. Basically everything's off. Yeah, so then there's that one over there. Now we've got auxiliary 2, which goes to an inverter, which goes to there. What else do we have? Oh, we have AC cutoff, which is basically just flicks a relay which turns all the inputs from the turbine off. So it'll just basically it'll just cut it off. There'll be no turbine, won't be doing anything. It'll just spin with no load, which is dangerous. As you probably think I'm an idiot having that switch. There's also a brake switch, which basically shorts out the outputs of the turbine, which amazingly it does slow it down. And then we have a switch for the meters. As you can see up there, they've got blue backlighting. At the moment there's nothing coming in. Solar's got 12.9 volts, but it's getting a bit cloudy as you can see. Turbine's not spinning. Battery's at 12.3. And all my fancy little stickers I've made with my label maker. And otherwise the boxes look pretty good. And we've also got a huge ass cable running to from the windmill. This actually it's the cable that goes in between the house and the power pole, which just so happens I ripped down. We've got the insides. This is that switch I'm talking about. It turns everything off. All these other little switches. There's a lot of wiring, but I tried to keep it tidy with heat shrink and cable ties. My inverter, which didn't work, but I managed to get it working again. What else? Here we go. Here's our new DC digital timer, 24-hour timer. This will turn the lights on whenever I want, basically any day. I can set it. There's so many options. At the moment I've only got it going 1 hour every morning. That'll turn the lights on as the lights just draw too much for what I can put back in. So yeah. Other than that, there's nothing else in this box. I haven't yet got the latches sorted, so I'm just using a, hang on, let me see, a bolt. There you go, stick that through there and it works. Back in the meters. Now, if anyone can tell me, somebody might know, these meters are getting a white powder. Hang on, focus this in a bit. What one's the worst one? This one's the worst one. You can see this white powdery stuff all over the board. I'm not sure why it's not getting wet or anything. I don't know what it is. So if somebody might know, just comment and let me know what I could do about it. We've got our relays for the input. That's the one that cuts everything off, and then it goes straight into this relay, which shorts it out, which is basically just earthed straight onto the box. We've got our 3 rectifiers, and we've got all this full 8 gauge wiring. Yeah, I think it's 8 gauge, I'm pretty sure it is. And that's the end of that big cable. I sort of just tied it up. It's hard to connect that cable up. And then once it goes through the last relay, sorry, camera's out of focus, we have a circuit breaker, 15 amp I think it is, if I can remember. Let me look. Yeah, it's 15 amp circuit breaker that goes from the turbine and the solar to the battery. So I thought I'd better just have that. And what else? Not much else I can think of. Oh yes, and this is a shunt for the amp meter. That works pretty well. I got it my first try. Several people have told me they're quite annoying to install because you got to have the wires all the same length, and yeah, I got it on my first try, and I tried it on my multimeter. I hooked that up and it's pretty much exactly the same, so that's great. What else have we got? Can't say there's anything else. Now these boxes have got vents, so it makes it easy for ventilation. As you can see, there's 4 holes there which are pre-drilled. I can drill more if I want. They can have a just basic computer 12-volt fan installed on it, which is perfect. This has, as you can see, there's 4 holes. The top one, the square one, was actually basically that window up there on that one. That's a glass window that's on that one that came installed. But they were going out of these and they were pre-drilled. The circle holes are pre-drilled on this one for what are they? They're analog voltmeters and stuff like that, but the bigger ones. But I didn't really want those ones. I wanted digital, and I couldn't. They had no more boxes left with just like the top one, so I just had to go with that one and get I basically 3 of the holes I filled up with cut up power supply box, which will work real well, and the last one in the middle is a different colour you noticed. That's roof flashing. That worked well. What else have we got? Okay, and here we've got, this is the back of that 3-point AC plug out of the inverter. We have our lights, one's up there, one's up there. These are just 20 watt halogen bulbs, and we've also got 2 1 watt LED bulbs, garden bulbs, and they work well, but I found they didn't give enough light for what where is it? There you go. I find it didn't want to there wasn't enough light for what the chickens needed, really, so yeah, halogen was the way to go with those, but they just suck a bit more power, so I need to get a thinking about a 90 watt solar panel. But as you can see, there's still a lot of my old mess up there. Okay, now here's the part that I've got of my light showing. So let's turn the side light on. As you can see, it brightens a lot up. Now while I'm here, I'll do the meters. Wrong one. There you go. Oh, can't really see them. Let's see if I can focus in here. There you go. That's the amps coming in. It's actually quite windy at the moment. Battery voltage, which is bad, I know, but that's why I'm getting a solar panel. It's 2 lights running for an hour and 20 watts each. Sucks it down quite a bit, surprisingly. Okay, there is one there, but it's solar, and the solar runs straight off the panel itself. No sun, no meter going. 12.4 on the turbine. Now another thing I forgot to mention is the battery and solar run straight off what they're reading. The amp and the turbine run off a separate power supply, which meant to run them off just an isolated power supply, but I've decided, well, it doesn't cost much for 9 volt batteries, so I'll just run it off a couple of 9 volt batteries and it works well. So that's them. We've got a turbine, if I can find it, that should be it there, and that's it there. Lights up the turbine quite nicely. Now I'm going to video how well the wind turbine brakes. We're just flicking the brake switch on. So I've got it here, and it's on now. That's on brake. It's just short circuiting. Now it's straight on switch. Now it's on off. Now it's on again. Slows it down quite well. Now I'll show you all the switches on. Looks pretty cool. There's one switch that doesn't work. That one. The light will not come on because I've got it not connected. For some reason, every time I connect the negative to that switch, it shorts everything out. Green ones aren't very strong for some reason. You can see them, but not very well, like the red ones. But yeah, if you have any ideas on how to fix that switch, because I'm not sure. I've tried diodes, I've tried wiring it differently, I've tried heaps, and it just won't work. It's as simple as that. I just can't get it to work for some reason. Yeah, maybe somebody might know how to fix it. Just leave a comment, rate it, all those good things, and I hope you liked it. There's a timer going. There's a little red light on. If you have any questions, just comment and I'll answer them as best as I can. And another thing I forgot to mention, in case you didn't notice, of course, that's the turbine voltage. That's quite windy at the moment, so it'll be, see, that's 12.3. The battery's sitting at 11.6. That means that's charging. that's definitely charging, and it's putting in about 0.4, 0.3, around about 0.3 and 4 amps, which isn't too bad. Can't really see it. So that's that.